Hey, we've got incredible news today. Cyberstan has been updated on the Galactic War Map, and the developers have surprised us with a second major order that involves heading back into the Gloom. But that's not all, there's even more to cover. If you enjoy the content, please show some love by hitting the like button below the video. I'd really appreciate it. Let's jump right in. Okay, Helldivers, we're starting the video by going over how Cyberstan was updated yesterday. For instance, you can see on the galactic map that it now has supply lines connecting it to other planets. However, it's not linked to the bottom section, such as Aurora Bay and Merrick, but it is connected to Merga 4, Mechbuda, and Vendamatrix Prime. If we take a closer look at Cyberstan, you can clearly see one Helldiver arrived on the planet yesterday, which is peculiar. So either a developer has been there and tested some things out, or possibly a modder modified some code and figured out a way to land on this particular planet. Besides that, it has 1 million HP, so nothing strange there, nor are the enemy resistances surprising either, since this is the Automaton homeworld. It's expected to have a high resistance level of 5.00 or even higher. Anyway, the developers are likely hinting that we'll be able to liberate Cyberstan, or at least go there at some point down the line. They wouldn't update the galactic map to include supply lines if they weren't planning to do something there. Speaking of that, I'm wondering when we'll hit the automatons hard by attacking this planet. Maybe sometime after August 4th, considering we know the developers should be back in their studio by then after their summer break. If you have any ideas about what's going on here, feel free to post a comment below, and I'll be sure to check it out and maybe, just maybe, feature your comment in the next video. On a related note about the galactic map, you might have already noticed that one of the planets surrounded by the Gloom is officially back. Good old 4E Prime, believe it or not. I certainly wasn't expecting this at all, and if you missed out on battling the Terminate Predator strain types previously, look no further because you can fight them again right now. Not only do we have news about the Gloom planet, but we've also received a brand new dispatch update explaining why High Command has authorized another expedition into the Gloom. For example, in the latest dispatch, High Command stated that they're supporting the campaign by giving us another shot at landing on 4E Prime and authorized a minor order. They're asking all Helldivers to exterminate 5 million Spore Burst Warriors, which, by the way, if you don't know, are those little suckers right here. We just need to eliminate that many to complete it, but we also have to consider the major order that High Command asked us to fulfill by eliminating a specific number of enemies from different factions. So it's a tough choice. However, I think most Helldivers will pause their efforts on the major order recently, the new one, and focus on tackling the minor order instead, considering it's in the Gloom and it's on 4E Prime. Also, I believe we'll have this one knocked out sooner rather than later, possibly as early as today or tomorrow. I'd like to know what you're planning to do. Are you going to stop and help complete this minor order, or are you going to continue working on the latest major order? I'd love to know, and it'll be interesting to see your responses. Anywho, High Command also announced that there's been a significant increase in Impalers on 4E Prime, and they're calling it the Impaler Rampage. I think this is an intriguing way for them to tie into the major order. I'm not sure what else they could do to support us. I will say I can't imagine us completing this major order just yet, but we'll see what happens. Who knows, maybe the developers will introduce another minor order to help us rack up more eliminations for Leviathans. Now, not only do we have information about that, but it appears Remembrance will receive a name change after all. It's now going to be called Gun, surprisingly enough. In the latest dispatch, High Command informed us about this as well. The new megacity will be called Gun instead of Remembrance. Now, if we check out Super Earth on the Galactic War Map here on the Helldivers Companion app site, we'll click on it, and then we'll look at the View Details option, Super Earth Regions, and we could tell right away the megacity Gun has been updated. Well, Remembrance has been updated to be Gun now. On a different note, I've got something really cool to share with you about a new taunt in Team Fortress 2 that's essentially a shout out to Helldivers 2. If we look at the taunt list in the game under the taunt tab, there's a flag taunt. When we select this spy class, it shows the spy striking an interesting pose with their arm raised, with their fist out, very similar to what we see in Helldivers 2. I think this is cool. It's a really cool nod to Helldivers 2, and it's awesome to see a taunt like this in Team Fortress 2. I haven't played this game in ages, yet I still think it's fantastic that they included this and kind of gave a little nod, a little jab at like, hey, Helldivers 2 is pretty cool. Yeah, at least that's how I take it. Let's switch gears because I've got something to share with you. Dark Horse Direct, a retailer collaborating with Arrowhead Game Studios and PlayStation, is making waves again. I've mentioned them before and showcased one of their items right here in the past. Now it seems that they're not just selling those smaller desk-size helmets. We've got word that they're working on a B0 tactical helmet, 1-of-1 scale replica, a freaking full-sized helmet. Unlike the smaller desk-size versions, this one's designed to be life-sized. As of now, it's not available for purchase, and we don't know the price yet. However, if you're eager to get one, you can join the waitlist by clicking the waitlist button. That way, you'll be notified as soon as it's available. I have to say, I'm really excited about this, and I might just purchase the helmet, depending on the price, of course. Either way, it's going to be an exciting time for everyone who's a fan of Helldivers 2, whether you're coming from Xbox or PlayStation. I'd also love to know if you saw the smaller helmets before, and if so, were you disappointed at the time, and are you happy now that there's a full-size helmet coming to the shop soon? If so, post a comment below, and let's talk about it. With that out of the way, we need to talk about the AD-49 Apollonian armor set. I'm not sure if anyone caught this when it first dropped. I know I didn't until just recently. According to the description, this heavy armor comes equipped with the latest computational systems, subsystems, and super systems, and it's said to be worth the equivalent of a small megacity. So yeah, this armor right here is pretty damn expensive if it's equivalent to a small megacity. Who would have guessed? I certainly didn't. So this right here is just incredible to know because that is one expensive armor. We're now going to put that aside and talk about something that I think a lot of you are curious about, and well, where's the technician? Well, as you can see from this screenshot here, she's actually underneath the Super Destroyer for some odd reason. She wasn't removed, she was just placed there on the bottom, I guess. This Helldiver found it and just said that, you know, they found her, she's underneath the ground for some reason, who knows why. But they probably just stuffed her there for the time being until maybe, you know, they upgrade the ship or give us ship upgrades, I should say. So that's probably what's going on here. Very intriguing stuff. If you didn't know about that, then there you go. Who would have guessed? And if you're wondering where she actually is besides right here on the screen, apparently in the story or in lore, whatever, she's just on training, she's doing something, and then eventually she'll make her way back, and that's what's going on here. What I'd like to bring up next is crashes. Yes, I'm sure you've all experienced it recently, crashing in game, whether it's messing with your customization or you just randomly crash because you're playing the game. Well, guess what? We've got no news on that, but I've seen a lot of comments about it, and I just want to make sure that this is still going on. If you currently have a bunch of weapons that you've been messing around with, customizing and whatnot, have you been crashing or have you not? Has things got better? I'd like to know, so this way I can talk about it a little bit more later on, and I'll do some testing and we'll see what's going on with everything. And I'll include your comments about this, so make sure you drop one below. Alright, with that being said, I'd like to talk about something unrelated to Helldivers 2, but still relatable in a way. I was curious to see if there were any benefits to working at Arrowhead Game Studios, and it turns out they offer some fantastic perks, some I absolutely wasn't expecting. For instance, they provide professional massages at work every other week to help employees de-stress, believe it or not. They also pay employees for 1 hour per week to engage in health activities, whether physical or mental. That's incredible. Plus, they cover yearly health checkups, they provide computer glasses. Additionally, developers have the freedom to plan a good chunk of their work week according to their own preference. Just a lot of crazy stuff here, and in a good way, right? These benefits really show how much they care about their team's well-being, and I didn't know about this. Lastly, we've got the top 3 comments. First, from Silly Cat Enjoyer 1. I've seen your comments a lot in the past. You were actually a top commenter before, but you wrote basically about the railgun meta, an old one, where we could one-shot a Bile Titan. And yes, I remember those good old days. I remember a lot of good things with certain weapons and whatnot. The second top comment is by Jin Lightning 001. Hey, what's up, buddy? You basically talked about the stratagem beacon bouncing bug, where you throw the stratagem down, bounces all over the place, freaking flops off the counter, goes through a kitchen table. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. It goes everywhere. It's ridiculous. It's crazy how amazing this bug is at the same time, because yeah, you can throw it down and it'll just bounce elsewhere. I've had it happen on defense missions, and it absolutely sucks. The last and final comment is by Heck Descender 2184. This is another commenter I've seen a lot in the past that has commented, and shout out to you as well. You talked about how you've seen the RR for free for the next 24 hours, which is the recoilless rifle, and you said that you remember in the first few months or weeks that we would get a lot of free strats for a day or so, and you would like to see that more often, or you questioned it. And you also said you'd like it too. Yeah, I'd like it as well. I think it would be awesome. I actually would like to be able to buy a consumable in some way that will allow me to use an extra stratagem on the field. Some might think it's too powerful. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think. Anywho, I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I appreciate everyone that has recently stopped by. If you thought the video was great, consider tapping the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I appreciate you guys once more. From lurkers, subscribers, and members, everyone, I truly appreciate, and I'll see you in the next one.